Hello, I'm Sunny. I am an actor on General Hospital, and many people really love both me and our General Hospital drama. So I've come here to share updates about my beloved General Hospital. Everyone, please subscribe and support me. If you do, I will keep coming every day with new updates for you. The week surged toward an even bigger turning point as Friday, July 10th arrived, carrying revelations powerful enough to reshape multiple lives forever. While Port Charles was still recovering from the chaos of shootings, betrayals, and dangerous conspiracies, Britt Westbourne found herself standing on the edge of a truth she never imagined she would hear. Instead of another devastating diagnosis or another cruel twist of fate, an astonishing revelation was about to rewrite everything she believed about her future. Lucas Jones prepares to share life-changing news with Britt, and the emotional weight of that moment cannot be overstated because it threatens to erase years of fear, despair, and hopelessness that have haunted every decision she has made. After believing she carried Huntington's disease for so long, Britt is finally confronted with the possibility that her entire nightmare was built on an elaborate lie. If the clues are correct, it may all trace back to the terrifying confrontation where Ross Cullum carelessly revealed pieces of his sinister manipulation, leaving Jocelyn Jacks as perhaps the only person capable of exposing the horrifying truth after overhearing his confession. As that emotional earthquake begins to unfold, another mystery quietly starts taking shape elsewhere in Port Charles. Ava Jerome turns her attention toward Ethan Lovett, determined to uncover answers that have remained hidden beneath layers of deception. Her questions may revolve around Ethan finally admitting that he is not truly Phoebe's father, a confession capable of changing relationships forever and forcing everyone involved to reconsider what they thought they knew. At the same time, an old romance slowly begins stirring back to life as Valentine Cassidy appears ready to step back into Anna Devane's world. Their reunion is anything but simple because the history they share is filled with impossible choices, dangerous secrets, and emotions neither of them has ever been able to fully silence. Even as their paths cross once again, destiny refuses to offer them peace, ensuring that every heartfelt moment is shadowed by the darkness that continues to surround them. Anna herself is returning under circumstances more frightening than anyone realizes. Although familiar faces may believe they are welcoming home the fearless woman they have always trusted, something far more sinister is happening inside her mind. Peter August's disturbing influence continues poisoning her thoughts, whispering relentless doubts into her ear and twisting her perception of everyone around her. Instead of finding comfort within the safety of her own apartment, Anna finds herself locked in a terrifying psychological battle where every conversation becomes suspect and every ally suddenly looks like a potential enemy. The woman known for her incredible instincts is now fighting an invisible enemy living inside her own mind, making every decision she faces increasingly dangerous. What should have been an emotional reunion instead becomes a suspense-filled struggle between the real Anna and the manipulative voice threatening to consume her. Meanwhile, younger lives continue colliding with consequences they never asked to inherit. Danny Morgan unexpectedly crosses paths with Charlotte Cassadine at the Metro Court pool, creating an encounter loaded with tension before either of them even says a word. The painful history surrounding Danny, Rocco Falconeri, and the shooting involving Ross Cullum hangs heavily over the moment, making even a simple meeting feel emotionally explosive. Neither child can completely escape the choices made by the adults around them, and every interaction serves as another painful reminder that families across Port Charles remain deeply fractured. Even ordinary moments now carry extraordinary emotional weight because trust has become one of the rarest things anyone can find. Their encounter quietly reflects how far the damage has spread beyond the courtroom, the hospital, and the criminal underworld. For Sonny Corinthos, however, life finally offers a brief opportunity to breathe after surviving the deadly crisis surrounding Jen Sidwell. Amid weeks of violence and uncertainty, Sonny and Justine Turner make time for romance, allowing themselves a rare moment of warmth in a world that so often demands sacrifice instead of happiness. Those peaceful moments are precious precisely because they are so fragile, reminding viewers that even the strongest people desperately cling to hope whenever they can find it. Yet elsewhere, peace remains impossible for Lulu Spencer, whose patience has completely run out. Furious over months of deception, she demands answers from Carly Spencer about secretly protecting Valentine Cassadine and allowing Charlotte to visit her fugitive father behind everyone's backs. Every unanswered question fuels Lulu's anger, and every explanation Carly offers only deepens the emotional wounds that betrayal has already carved into their relationship. Another emotional storm gathers around Harrison Chase before the week reaches its conclusion. Something leaves Chase utterly horrified, and all signs point toward the growing accusations against Willow Tate as investigators continue pushing the theory that she may have been the mysterious second driver connected to the unfolding scandal. Watching Willow become buried beneath another crushing allegation forces Chase to confront yet another impossible situation, especially as more pieces of the truth begin falling into place. At the same time, Brooke Lynn Quartermaine and Chase reach a new understanding that may center entirely on Willow's worsening circumstances. Whether they finally acknowledge uncomfortable truths or simply recognize how destructive the situation has become, their evolving perspective marks another important shift in the complicated web of relationships surrounding this scandal. As Friday comes to an end, Port Charles is left standing at the edge of an even greater transformation, with shocking truths finally beginning to emerge, old loves returning from the shadows, dangerous secrets refusing to stay buried, and countless lives preparing to change forever as an unforgettable new week approaches. As a brand new week begins on Monday, July 13th, the atmosphere in Port Charles shifts in a way that feels impossible to ignore. The town has barely had time to recover from the emotional aftershocks of recent betrayals and life-threatening confrontations when one of its most legendary figures finally makes his long-awaited return. Jason Morgan is back, marking Steve Burton's first appearance as the beloved character once again, and his arrival immediately sends waves through the lives of everyone who has ever loved, depended on, or feared him. Whether audiences first see him stepping back into Port Charles or completing unfinished business with the WSB in Indonesia, one thing becomes unmistakably clear from the very beginning. This is not the same Jason Morgan who disappeared. The months spent in captivity have changed him in ways that reach far beyond physical survival, leaving behind a man who has been forced to reevaluate everything he once believed about loyalty, family, and the life he has chosen to live. The transformation inside Jason becomes one of the defining stories of the week as he quietly reveals that he no longer intends to continue living exactly as he did before his disappearance. His painful time away has reshaped his priorities, forcing him to confront the emotional cost of constantly sacrificing himself for others. Those closest to him will soon discover that his decisions are no longer driven solely by duty or obligation, but by a desire to reclaim parts of his life that have remained buried for far too long. That choice promises to ripple through Port Charles, touching the lives of Danny Morgan, Britt Westbourne, the entire Quartermaine family, Anna Devane, and perhaps most significantly, Sonny Corinthos. Every relationship Jason has built over the years now stands at a crossroads, because when a man changes this dramatically, everyone around him is forced to change as well. His return is not simply the comeback of a familiar face, it is the beginning of a completely new chapter whose consequences will be felt for months to come. Monday also carries another milestone for General Hospital itself, as the series celebrates its remarkable 16,000th episode with the arrival of a brand new doctor whose debut adds fresh energy to an already eventful day. Even as new beginnings emerge, Britt Westbourne continues struggling to process the astonishing revelation that has completely overturned her understanding of her own future. After living beneath the terrifying shadow of Huntington's disease, she now faces the breathtaking possibility that she never suffered from the illness at all. The emotional burden she carried for years suddenly transforms into disbelief, confusion, relief, and overwhelming grief for all the precious time stolen from her by deception. Realizing that her greatest fear may have been manufactured by manipulation rather than fate, forces Britt to question nearly every decision she has made since receiving that devastating diagnosis. While hope finally begins replacing despair, the emotional scars left behind cannot simply disappear overnight, making this one of the most profound turning points of her entire journey. Elsewhere, Anna Devane's internal battle grows increasingly dangerous as Peter August's lingering psychological influence continues tightening its grip around her thoughts. Every conversation becomes another opportunity for doubt to creep into her mind, leaving her uncertain about the intentions of even the people she has trusted for years. Instead of relying upon the instincts that have guided her through countless investigations, Anna now finds herself trapped in a frightening struggle against an enemy no one else can see. Her growing paranoia threatens to isolate her from those desperate to help, creating heartbreaking tension between perception and reality. At the same time, Carly Spencer refuses to let go of her fury toward Jack Brennan for recruiting Jocelyn Jacks into the WSB. Carly remains determined to get her daughter away from the dangerous world of espionage, but Jocelyn's own determination only complicates matters, making it painfully clear that mother and daughter are no longer fighting for the same future. While Carly wrestles with that impossible conflict, another deeply personal relationship begins drawing renewed attention. Valentin Cassadine soon finds himself back in Carly's arms, reigniting emotions that refuse to stay buried despite every obstacle standing between them. Their reunion promises comfort, passion, and emotional healing, but it also creates immediate concern for Sonny Corinthos, who remains deeply uncomfortable with Valentin's place in Carly's life. Sonny's protective instincts quickly take over, convincing him that Valentin represents another dangerous complication that Carly simply does not need. Rather than standing by and hoping circumstances change on their own, Sonny turns to Brick for help, determined to find a way to separate Carly and Valentin before their relationship grows even stronger. His decision reflects not only lingering jealousy and concern, but also the complicated emotional history that continues binding Sonny and Carly together despite everything they have endured. At the same time, Lulu Spencer's struggles inside her own family continue becoming more emotionally exhausting with every passing day. Both Charlotte Cassadine and Rocco Falconeri push back against Lulu with increasing attitude, leaving her caught between protecting her children and understanding the complicated emotions they are experiencing. The tension reaches another painful milestone when Charlotte ultimately insists that she wants to move out, a heartbreaking declaration that leaves Lulu facing the possibility of losing her daughter emotionally as well as physically. Every disagreement now feels larger than the argument itself because years of secrets, divided loyalties, and emotional wounds continue resurfacing whenever this family tries to move forward. Even the strongest bonds are beginning to crack beneath the pressure, making reconciliation feel more difficult than ever before. Hope quietly returns to General Hospital itself as Britt prepares to leave jail behind and make her way back toward the place where so much of her life has unfolded. There is growing optimism that she may actually reclaim her position at the hospital, offering her the opportunity to rebuild both her career and her sense of purpose after enduring one devastating setback after another. Meanwhile, Nina Reeves and Jack Brennan remain laser-focused on gathering the evidence they desperately need against Drew Kane Quartermain. Their investigation centers on the mysterious black box that Ross Cullum stole after Z unsuccessfully tried to locate it. Now the critical question becomes whether Cullum managed to hide the evidence somewhere before everything spiraled out of control. If Nina and Jack can finally recover that missing piece of the puzzle, they may possess exactly what is needed to expose Drew, just as his physical recovery begins accelerating. Romantic possibilities also begin emerging in unexpected places as Ava Jerome and Ethan Lovett slowly start exploring feelings that neither of them can easily ignore. What begins as honest conversations gradually hints at something deeper, suggesting that shared vulnerability may evolve into genuine affection despite the complicated circumstances surrounding both of their lives. Elsewhere, Brooklyn Quartermain's elaborate scheme against Willow Tate inches closer to total collapse as the lies become increasingly impossible to contain. The plan she carefully constructed threatens to explode spectacularly in her face, exposing not only her own actions but the alliances she formed along the way. Tracy Quartermain also finds herself heading toward an inevitable confrontation with Lucy Coe, setting the stage for a fierce battle involving deception and perhaps even far more than either woman expects. Old rivalries ignite with fresh intensity, proving once again that business conflicts in Port Charles are rarely just about business. As the week continues unfolding, Gio Palmieri makes a sincere effort to repair the fractured relationship with his brother, Rocco Falconeri, hoping that compassion can succeed where anger has failed. The emotional distance between them has become impossible to ignore, and Gio recognizes that healing will require honesty, patience, and forgiveness from both sides. Meanwhile, Cody Bell steps forward in an important way for James West, demonstrating a level of responsibility and compassion that leaves a lasting impression. His actions ultimately carry enormous emotional significance for his growing relationship with Molly Lansing Davis, showing her a side of Cody that strengthens the bond they have been carefully building together. By the time the week reaches its conclusion, Port Charles stands transformed once again. Jason Morgan has returned with a completely different outlook on life. Britt has been handed an astonishing second chance. Dangerous investigations continue gathering momentum. Fragile romances begin blooming amid uncertainty, and powerful family conflicts show no signs of slowing down. Every victory is tempered by fresh uncertainty. Every reunion carries hidden complications, and every secret waiting beneath the surface promises that even greater drama is still on the horizon.